So just imagine going to a motel room with your family. You're coming home after a day, and you go and you try to put the key in the door, and you can't get in. And literally, the motel owner told us to get out of there, or he's going to call the police on us because we hadn't paid rent. And what he did was kept all of our clothing, and we had to get in the car, go down the street to the next motel room, and start life all over again. It blew I was in second grade. I remember just leaving my cowboy boots, everything we owned in that motel room, we had to keep going. I had to learn how to dream beyond my circumstances because my circumstances were telling me one thing, but I had a dream of something different. In the AAA motel room, and get this, there was 9 people living in one motel room, the AAA motel room here. AAA motel, we were paying, I think it was $32 a night. AAA motel. If I'm not mistaken, we lived in room 9 there. 9 of us. My mother was living across the street here. And she and I pulled up in the minivan to parallel park in front of her home right here. And I noticed at the corner there was a black Cherokee sitting at the corner there under the light there. And of course I'm trying to parallel park the minivan. Cherokee starts coming by, and instantly we hear pop, pop, boom, 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 boom. And it's a drive-by shooting. And there was a bullet that was lodged in the bottom windowsill of the driver's door that was meant to kill me. And at that particular time, I told myself I was not coming back to this environment. This was everything to me. 5 Points was my stomping grounds. You know, there are people who claim to be from the east side, but I tell people I'm from 5 Points. I'm born and raised 5 Points. Everywhere I lived at was right around the center of the core of 5 Points. And this is a place I love. This is a place that was near and dear to my heart. As difficult as my life was growing up here in 5 Points, I'm very, very grateful for the experience. You know, my mother and father were drug addicts and shoplifters who were arrested a total of 121 times by the time I finished high school here in Denver, Colorado. We used to be so hungry that we would actually go in these grocery stores, steal food, run out on the weekends to feed ourselves because my parents would leave us for days by ourselves. Dad was in prison. My little brother was in prison. My grandmother was my last legal guardian, was in a nursing home. Oldest brother's back here involved in gangs. Oldest sister's back here in crack cocaine. Second oldest sister was in foster care in Iowa. And between my junior and senior year of high school, I lived in 5 different locations and spent the last 6 months homeless. My first home, I lived here in 5 Points. Growing up here in Denver, you know, living in motel rooms and crisis centers and motel rooms, I remember in the early 80s, the gangs from LA were starting to infiltrate Colorado, and in particular Denver. And I was a person who was very lost. I lived in numerous foster homes, crisis centers, motel rooms at the time, so I was kind of searching and really kind of plotting and planning to get involved in something. So the gangs started to look appealing because they were very new to the area at the time. I was living with my aunt, and she got me involved in basketball. And basketball literally saved my life because many things I was looking for in the world of gangs, sense of belonging, you know, great male mentors, other kids who had similar goals, I received from playing sports. So sports became my outlet to open up doors. My home away from home. This was my saving grace. This was my happy place. This place right there means everything to me. And it gave me a stable place to call home in the midst of all the other stuff that was taking place in 5 Points with the drugs and the gangs and alcoholism and everything else taking place at home and in the streets. So I ran into a coach from Mullen High School who came in and talked to me and my comrades about the opportunity to go out to the school. And I remember him mentioning the words college. I was like, whoa, you mean a kid from my neighborhood can go to college? And I got really excited about that. No one wants to live in an environment where you feel like you're under siege every day. My circumstances at home were telling me something contrary to college. Here I was living in my 7th motel room, 9 people, 1 room, 2 beds, 1 bathroom in Commerce City. And I have a guy here telling me that I can go to college. So I tell people it's very, very important for us to be able to dream beyond our circumstances. And it was my grandmother's wish that I go out to Mullen High School and do well. So every morning, starting at 6:30 in the morning, I took 3 city buses one way to Mullen High School every day. I get the daunting call to school that my mother was busted for selling drugs and was on her way back to prison again. My life was devastated, but again, my circumstances were telling me that it was game over, but my brain and my mind was saying, I gotta find some way to get to the NFL. And the first step is to get to college. We moved into this motel room with nothing but the clothes on our back. And every statistic that we were looking at facing as a black male was telling us we were doomed for gangs, drugs, violence, and death at a very early age. I remember hitting the 25-year-old mark when I hit 25 years old and thinking to myself, wow, I made it. Because every statistic was telling me as a black male growing up here in the inner cities of Denver that that I wasn't going to make it to 25 years old, which is a very, very sad situation to be in. A person who's been homeless, but at the same time, a person who's played Division I major football, All-American football player, and today is sitting here as Dr. Tommy Watson with 4 college degrees as well. So I like to think of myself as a person who can connect with anyone on most levels. Anyone listening out there, whether you're black, male, female, doesn't matter what your racial background, doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is, don't let anyone put you in a box. Know that you can achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. Have a vision for yourself. Know that in many situations you're not the first to do it, and if you are the first to do it, great, be that pioneer, but don't let anyone put you in a box. Yes, you're going to face challenges. You're going to face challenges when it comes to racism. You're going to face challenges when it comes to economics. You're going to face challenges when it comes to people not believing in you, but you're going to have to find a way to believe in yourself. So we got to get back to a place where we're starting to see the humanity in each other, no matter what we look like, no matter where you're from, no matter what your sexual orientation may be, no matter what your race may be, what your economic level may be. It doesn't matter. We're human beings, and we need to learn each other's stories. And that is a big reason I'm telling my story through this movie, because again, it is hard to hate someone once you know their story.